Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. What day is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. It's time for top. Three. Tuesday. Yeah, I was shit, wasn't it? So it's top 3 Tuesday. You can probably tell by my thumbnail. We are gonna do my top 3 Xbox games. And no, this is not a spoiler. And yes, there's 10 games here. The top 3 are hidden at the bottom. But boy, the Xbox, as I was looking at my collection, I've got so many memories. Really good memories of the Xbox. And what's unique about the Xbox, or unique for me with the Xbox, is it was actually the first console I bought or owned. I bought it that I wasn't like a console behind. We grew up, me and my brother. My brother fell off gaming, but when we were younger, like the Sega Mega Drive came out, we had the Master System. The N64 was announced, then we had the Super Nintendo. We were always that almost like a full console behind. We weren't poor. Like both my mum and dad had full-time jobs, but we had a lot of interests. Both of us were heavily into swimming, and when you got to, we're almost to the point where we're full-time swimmers, and the fees, the squad fees, it's surprising how expensive a sport swimming can be. And time's up by 2 because it was me and my brother, my older brother. And we had to travel and things like that. So I get it. I understand why we were a little bit... my parents didn't have the kind of money to buy us all the gaming stuff because we had so much... It was other interests we had as well, but that's just an example. So fast forward, whatever year the Xbox came out, I had one... I remember actually buying it. It was £220. And then there was another offer. It was about 3 or 4 months after launch. It was £220 with Halo. And I had exactly £220 in my bank. And I was in a shop and I saw, again, this was before YouTube, before I even had the internet. The internet might have been a thing back then. And basically I fell in love with Halo. I thought everybody that was around can probably appreciate this. It was so far ahead of anything else that was available on a console. Maybe PCs were doing some amazing stuff. But basically, I spent £220 on Halo. That's how much I thought, wow. And boy, it did not disappoint. I was skint for fucking months and months after. But then I got one job. I was over the lifespan of the Xbox, so it was nice to be current gen, same as everyone else. And I was pretty new. Not many people had the Xbox when I first had it, and it was nice. And I had a full-time job. Then I had another part-time job alongside my full-time job, and then I had another part-time job alongside my full-time job and my other part-time job. So I had plenty of money. One of the jobs I was doing was cash in hand, and it was £100 extra cash in hand a week. I know it's a bit naughty, but that was my gaming money. I didn't have to touch my bank account because I always had £100 every single week given to me. So my wallet would always have £100 in it. So I got to experience any new game came out, even if I half liked the look of it, buy it brand new, didn't care. If 2 or 3 games came out, don't care, I'll buy them. So I got really good memories. I was really spoilt. It was really nice to be playing games whatever I wanted on the console, and it was the best console of this generation, in my opinion. Okay, so I've got so many good memories, and that's the reason I've got 10 games here. Okay, I'm just going to go through. So you can argue I've got the 6 honourable mentions. And we'll start with the top game. This is a disclaimer. This is either my first or second favourite game of all time. Not for the Xbox, of all time. But I only this weekend picked it up for the Xbox. Loved it. I did a playthrough of it last night, arcade mode. Really enjoyed it. Check it out, please, if you haven't already watched it. Did I beat Rugal, Ultimate Rugal? I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, so I don't think it's fair to put this in my top 3 games for the Xbox because, you know, I haven't had it long enough for it to justify putting it into my top 3, okay? So I'm just going to move the rest of these games out of the way. I'm just thinking I might be able to see what's next, you know? Okay, so these are just honourable mentions. So one of them is Deus Ex, Invisible War. I am noticing a lot of them are these only on Xbox. That's like this stamp or seal of approval. I've never played a bad only on Xbox game in my life. I didn't know anything about this. I remember I picked this up in game. What caught my eye, is this. I always used to look out for this. Then it had fantastic reviews. I think it does say about it being like Game of the Year. Yeah, Game of the Year, even this early on. So I think this came out like February or March or something, and they were saying it's Game of the Year. And I just thought, okay, it's a shooter with RPG elements. And what I loved about this was I actually made a few friends when I was working in Currys. Some people I perhaps wouldn't normally have had anything to talk about. And I just said, anyone into gaming, because I was new at the time. And a couple of them said they're playing this. And they were telling me you can go through the entire game. This is amazing. You can go through the entire game without actually killing anyone. I couldn't do that. I was fucking shooting everyone, I was. Someone looks at me funny, boom, you're dead. You know what I mean? But this game, maybe 10 out of 10 is a bit generous, but I remember it blew my mind back in the day. And I've been a fan of this series ever since. I've even got a Jensen figure in my collection. Another only on Xbox game was this game. I remember buying this, okay? And it sat on my shelf. I think it might have been a 2 for 20, or it was in one of those 3 for whatever offers, buy 2 get 1 free or something. And this was the free one. The only reason I got it was because of this. I didn't really or particularly like the look of it, but it sat on my shelf for at least 12 months. Then I discovered the Splinter Cell series. And what an amazing series that is. I actually don't have that on the Xbox because I've got the remasters on the PlayStation 3. I was just thinking, where's Splinter Cell? Yeah, so I kind of fell in love with stealth games then. And then I played this. It might have even been a couple of years. My ex-girlfriend at the time, I was living there, and she goes, this game looks really good. Is it any good? And I was like, do you know what? Never played it. Let's stick it on. And we stuck it on, and it was amazing. This, again, like Deus Ex, this just blew me away, this game. Still holds up well today. I played this about 6 months ago. It's much better than the newer one that came out on the PlayStation 4. I think it came out on the PS3 as well, and Xbox 360. But yeah, definitely check that game out if you're not sure about it. Another, only on Xbox game, was Fable. What I remember about this game, when I bought it, I don't want to say too much. I went on a night out, and I put it this way, I couldn't go to, something happened, I was a bit naughty, basically I got into a bit of a fight on a night out. I was fucking a bit of a hothead back then, and yeah, so basically I had like bruises on my face, and working in retail, my boss wasn't impressed. He said, I can't have you walking around the shop looking like a fucking thug. So I had to do nights for that week. Fair play to him. The shop wasn't open nights, but he put a team together and he kind of turned a negative into a positive. There was a lot of promo changes, a lot of stuff we needed to change around the shop. And this game came out on the Friday, so just before I went on that night out. It was when Wales played England in the football, and England, they hammered us. It was back when England had a hell of a team. We didn't stand a chance, I'm not going to lie. So What I remember, I picked this up on the Friday and I just played hell out of it. I didn't sleep much that week because your body can't just adjust. You're up all night, but you're used to sleeping in the day. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I gotta be honest though, I started playing the remaster on the Xbox 360, the HD remake. Some games are best left in your memory. It played really smooth in my memory. It's very clunky, in my opinion. I'm gonna continue my playthrough because I got so much nostalgia attached to it. But I worry if I'm gonna recommend this game, and you haven't got that nostalgia attached to it, maybe it's not the game for you, because there's a lot better games like that out. Like Fable 3, I think is a lot better. Okay, moving on to my next one. It's another only on Xbox game, and I have mentioned it earlier on, is Halo. It hasn't actually made my top 3. If you asked me when the Xbox came out, I would have said this is a 10 out of 10 game back then. And then when I was talking to my friends about, they were recommending games and stuff, I'd say, what would you give it out of 10? And they'd say 7, 8 or whatever. Then I'd say, what would you give Halo out of 10? And that was our guide. So if they give Halo, most people, like I'd say this is a 10 out of 10. I'd say, for example, Fable back then would probably be an 8.5, 9 out of 10. So I absolutely love this game. This sold the Xbox. They absolutely fucking nailed it for a launch title. There aren't many games that can top Halo. Everybody's played it, so I think it's like £1 or something now. Anyway, I recently played the Anniversary Collection on the Xbox 360. It's obviously out on the Xbox One as well. Anyway, moving on. This is the first non-only on Xbox game. It hasn't made my top 3. It nearly did. The next two just missed out on it. But this top 3, I should say, is now. Games that I play now. Nostalgia doesn't really play. I'm being quite strict. It's what games do I love playing on my Xbox in 2022. Okay, just to clarify that. The story on this game, I don't want to give any spoilers. I believe they're doing a remake of it. I hope it gets like the Final Fantasy treatment, Final Fantasy 7 treatment. This is the first RPG I ever played. This is actually the original game I bought back in whatever fucking year it came out. I can't see it in there. I got fond memories reading through on the bus on the way home. Literally got up early in the morning. The day came out, travelled on the bus just to get this game. And it took over my life for the 40 odd hours I played it. And the first thing I did was start the game again and did it the Sith. I started it Jedi, be all goody two shoes. I thought it'd be really funny to be like the bad guy. And it's like a completely different game, or a different game I should say. But it's fun whichever way you decide to play it. So I strongly recommend this game. I agree with the reviews here. 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. And it does hold up. It is even, I have got it on my iPad as well. It does run okay on that. Another Star Wars game. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I love Battlefront 1 as well. Battlefront 2 though, just expanded on everything that they did right on Battlefront 1. By far the best Star Wars shooter, in my opinion. It's just hours and hours of fun. And this is a game I still play to this day. This does hold up. It's better than the fucking EA ones anyway. Yeah, most people know about this. It's not that expensive, but I have noticed, obviously when I go in the shops, I'm not looking for, like I'll see that and I just keep looking. Do you know what I mean? I don't pick it up, but I have noticed when I'm looking for other games like on eBay and stuff, it is starting to creep up in price. So you might not want to sleep on that. It's a good game to have in the collection, you know. Now then, my top 3. So look, are any of them only on Xbox? Oh, one of them is only on Xbox. So again, it's got that stamp of approval. I don't know if I'm cheating on this one. I'll just show you. It's the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Now, I know it was 3 things on here. You've obviously got Hyper Street Fighter 2, Third Strike, that's the reason I've got it. And the movie's on there as well, I think. Oh yeah, it says there. I've got the movie on DVD anyway. So the reason I've got this, and when I'm looking at it on my shelf, it's Third Strike is the game when I'm looking at this game, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Third Strike, you know. Nothing against Hyper Street Fighter 2. It's one of the best looking games. It didn't do very well, Third Strike. But I love the look of it. There's just something about it, and it has got a cult following. People still play it to this day on the other anniversary collection. But yeah, it's so happy to have this on the Xbox. So that's my number 3. Ooh, God, these two games are so good. This game is number 2, Soul Calibur 2. Talk about 10 out of 10 games. I have talked about this. This was my, I think, second favourite Soul Calibur game of all time. Narrowly missing out to Soul Calibur 6. Again, I'm just going on what today. Back then, this game, I told the story how I discovered it. It was recommended by a friend who's very enthusiastically talking about it. Didn't work. Yeah, what an absolutely amazing game. And the special character on this one, if you didn't know, was Spawn. He's one of my favourite guest characters in a fighting game of all time. He's not my number 1 favourite. Maybe I'll do a top 3 Tuesday on that one day. Stay tuned. Yeah, so that's my number 2. Oh, right. Let me know in the comments. Pause it or whatever. What do you think my number 1 Xbox game is of all time? I'll do a countdown. Oh, that was that fucking show. I can't remember. It goes diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, boom. Okay, my number 1. Give yourself a pat on the back if you got this right. Is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Out fucking standing. I didn't keep my original from back in the day. I think this was ordered online with CEX, and a bit of a CEX lottery, as they call it, or CEX roulette. It's got the manual. You know, they still charge the same price if it's complete or incomplete, but the manual hasn't been looked after. It does. I'm not going to bend it, but you can see it's nearly folding. I just want to look after it, and but this talk about the near perfect game. This is one of my favourite games of all time. I've been playing a lot of Capcom vs SNK 2 recently. If I start playing this again, this might jump up. It's really hard for me to decide which one I prefer. I fucking love this game. If you haven't played it, why not? It's the best Marvel vs. Capcom by miles, in my opinion, in the series. I know 3 is very popular, but this is where it's at, in my opinion. Fucking hell, what a fantastic game. I'd love them to remake it. I know it was hashtag trending before, wasn't it? That is my number 1. I wouldn't say by miles, but my top 3 are fucking special games, aren't they? So bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so to celebrate my Xbox Top 3 Tuesday, I'm going to start a new special offer now. You might think I'm being too generous, but I don't care, because these are such good games. I'm not going to charge. Yeah, it's going to be free for you to hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button as well. I don't think I'm going to charge for that either. Fuck it. I'll do free likes and free subscriptions. I've had a couple of subscribers over the weekend. I'm so grateful. Thank you very much, guys. Love you long time. But please hit that subscribe button. I haven't given up on my target of 100 subscribers by my birthday. I know it's very, very far off, but if you want to make an old man happy, slam that subscribe button. Got really serious then, didn't I? Yeah, let me know in the comments, what's your top 3 Xbox games? As always, love you, bye.